I think a lot of times parents, tell kids like, wait till you get to college, or even coaches, that you have time, you have no time. Like, tomorrow's not promised, and the past is the past. Like, the only time you have now is right now. So you don't have to wait 5 years to be a professional in college. You could be one right now. Living that lifestyle is big, because a lot of people don't live that right lifestyle.
Beautiful. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? We're live here in the one and only South Dade wrestling room. Blood, sweat, and tears shed on these mats. We're here live on the Lugo Show, episode number uno. I'm here with my big bro, Pat Lugo, two-time D1 All-American. Man, what a day. Taking it from the top, Pat moved down here I'd say about 6 months ago. And Pat came down with the same plan he had about a year ago. Take two, second annual Miami Hawks Summer Games, and it was my turn to step up. It was my turn to be his right hand man. Felt like I stepped up to the plate. Day one was great. And what you think, big bro? What do you think? Give me a take.
I think day one was good. Not as many kids that we had last year, but it was a good. I had a lot of energy with those kids. A lot of parents, being involved too, which is a good thing. A lot of support from the community, which is awesome. A lot of sponsors, which is awesome. This event is something I'm gonna do every year. I want to just keep growing the sport down here in Florida, South Florida especially. That's where me and my brother, grew up. Put our feet to the ground and started working. So yeah, it's been good. The process, every year we're growing. Every year we're getting better. Next year is gonna be bigger and better than this year, and the future's bright.
Right.
Future's bright. We got a good team. We got a good video team, a part of us now. We got a good promotional team,
That's
marketing
right. We
team.
do.
I'm putting the pieces together. We putting the pieces together, just to build a good community. That's what we need. You can't do it alone. It takes a village.
That's right. What was the vibe like? What did you feel out there? Like, what did you pick up out there? Cause I know I heard you mention like that last break we got, like before you brought everybody in, did your little thing, your speech. You said, I heard you say something. I was pretty far, but I heard you say like, hey, you told the kids like good vibe. Like, so what do you mean by that? Like, can you explain a little bit more about it?
Yeah. So like I said, they had a good energy. I'll give them direction and they'll react right away. Right. So, and then once they're reacting and that's when I know I can run a good practice. Once if I give them something and it takes for them for a while for them to start reacting, then that's when I know they're tired and I gotta be aware of how they're feeling. I can't push them too much because I want to keep them engaged.
Right. And that makes you more into the practice. That makes you want to push them harder. So I definitely hear where you're coming there.
Yeah, and I was a little nervous at first, and I think that's good though.
Right, I definitely was too, and I was getting nervous because you definitely want to start on time. You want to start at 6 o'clock on time. The line was coming out the door, so it's just like a bittersweet feeling there. You got the line coming out the door. The event's working out great, and we're about to start. So emotions got there. It was great. I think that day one was a success. Day one was a success, and tomorrow is just gonna be better. What do you think? What do you think we can do better tomorrow than we did today?
Better tomorrow than we did today. Probably more communication. Communicating
between each other.
Yeah, between each other and to the kids, and everything falls into place when things are flowing. I think a lot of times parents, tell kids like, wait till you get to college, or even coaches, that you have time. You have no time. Like, tomorrow's not promised, and the past is the past. Like, the only time you have now is right now. So you don't have to wait 5 years to be a professional in college. You could be one right now. Living that lifestyle is big, because a lot of people don't live that right lifestyle. They tend to just do things. Though working hard inside the wrestling room is the easiest thing. And the hard work is when you step outside that wrestling room, like, what are you doing?
Getting out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
That's what I would think to say.
and staying in there, being comfortable
Right.
with being uncomfortable. I think that's huge for a wrestler. It's just for anyone in general. Like when you feel uncomfortable, that's when like wrestling exposes yourself. You know what I mean? Exposes who you are. So if you could be uncomfortable and stay calm and stay in that fire, you'll be successful in whatever you do. When I realized it when I was like a sophomore in high school, that's kind of like when my life changed. Started changing, that the people I started hanging out with, my eating habits, my sleeping habits. Being a professional is a lifestyle. So it's not something you just do during season. There's no season. It's a lifestyle. So I think that's when I kind of changed my life. Sophomore year, high school, kind of woke up a little bit. Setting my priorities.
Did you have guidance or you found it by yourself?
Guidance, for sure, guidance from, from the guidance from, how you say it? The upper,
Guidance
the sky,
from
how you say it?
from the man above,
Man
just
above.
guidance
There you
from
go.
life, guidance from things happen in life, and I guess you can say that can set you on the right path. Can sometimes it could be bad, sometimes it could be the best thing in the world. I just think that like just cliche saying everything happens for a reason. Being Pat's little brother, watching him, go from being literally knocked out in the blood round in the state tournament as a freshman, 106, to being, top 10 in the country, just like a switch, like you walk into a room and you just turn a switch on, it's just like that, boom, black and white. And that's literally what it was, and, when I say you put in work, put in work. There's one thing when somebody says, you bust your ass, but you really bust your ass. That's what he did. But it was a great feeling, good time, a lot of memories, a lot of ups and downs. In this room here that we're sitting in, the middle circle, nothing like it. You got Pat, Isaiah Crosby, two-time JUCO national champ, Justin Ramirez, three-time state finalist. These guys were back to back. Monday through Friday, 3 hours, 3 hours out, 3 hours out the day, every day out the week. It's just it was different.
What was it like creating your own legacy? So not just your brother.
Creating my own legacy was unique. I think I definitely had a unique story of my own. I came from being that that little league wrestler that was like the best, like winning Tulsa, or like placing at far, at these Tulsa tournaments in Reno in the kid division. So when I got to the high school scenery, yeah, it's kind of I got like a wake up call. I was on JV as a freshman. JV as a freshman, with the motivation of my brother, pushing me as a sophomore to then become a three-time state champ.
So that's the end of the Lugo Show, episode 1, take 1. We'll be back here tomorrow, same time. About to go pick up our 5 coaches: Drake Ayala, Boris Molinari, Corey Clark, Austin DeSanto, and Coach Duck. So pick them up. So get ready to go for tomorrow.